Well, hello there, Perfect Drafters. How are we doing? Are we good? Good. Because today we're going to go for a bit of a Bold Baps news special. Now, I've not put myself in the usual news studio with a green screen thing in the background, stuff flashing about. I've got to be honest, that was hard work. And look, I've got this, I've got my neon sign, haven't I? So, don't really need to do it. It's about the news. So let's get stuck in. Basically, since the last news special, which I think was May, we've had a lot of new kegs. So that's where we're going to start. We'll start with the new kegs, then we'll have a little look at that announcement that was a while ago now about the delisted and on hold kegs, because that's important. Then we're going to go into something that's obviously a bit sensitive. It's got to be, hasn't it? Because this is hard-hitting news. But let's start off on a happy note of those new kegs. So you have got to say, well done Beerhawk for how many new kegs they are releasing. Nobody can fault them for that. I mean, we've got 2 from Britain, 1 from Denmark, 1 from France and 3 from Belgium. All since May. Yeah? I think on the last one, on the last news, we had the Chavinsky thing, you know, the Ukrainian lager. We had the St. Frulian that was mentioned on that. And we had the Vocation Life and Death. So 3 kegs there was mentioned in May. But like I say, since then, we have had 7 new kegs. Yeah. So what are they? Let's have a roll through them. So Innis and Gunn. That's come to the Perfect Draft. And while I've been reviewing this, while I've been going through the kegs and been in the groups and stuff like that, I have seen this asked for many a time. So I'm not surprised, because Beerhawk did send out that email saying, look, suggest us new kegs. What would you like to see on there? And they got that on there. Can't fault that. A lot of people are asking for it. And there it is. So that's a 4.6% lager. Yeah, you've probably had it in a can, but I dare say it tastes that tad bit different out of the keg. So let's see what that tastes like in a future review. Then the other British belter, again, asked for a fair bit. And it is an IPA, 6.5%, and it's very grapefruity. So it's interesting that they did discontinue the Magic Rock High Wire. I actually did a comparison of the High Wire to a can of Elvis juice. Now, a little bit unfair comparing a can again to a keg, but there wasn't that much difference. So, I will be interested to see what that tastes like. So then let's jump over to the French little beauty that's come on there. So that is a Castle Lane Grand Cru. And that comes in at 8.5%. It's a farmhouse ale. And then over to that belter of a brewery in Denmark, we're talking about Mikkeller. Now, the heated seats, that was a little while ago. I did a review on it. I was a little bit underwhelmed. I think my high hopes were just that little bit too high. And maybe the temperature a little bit too low. Because at 3 degrees, I don't think the flavours came out on that heated seats beer. It's gone down well with others, so maybe that was just Boldy's old taste buds. But this new one, this Direwolf Brigade Pale Ale thing, that's a Game of Thrones combination exclusive to the Perfect Draft, that looks interesting, but it is only 4%. And then we've got 3 from Belgium. So the first one is Palm, an amber ale, and coming in at 5.2%. So I've got no idea what that tastes like. Haven't got a clue, never had it in a bottle, never had anything like it. I can't say it's absolutely pulling me in, but I'll give it a blast. And then we also had the 2 new ones from Quack. So the Rouge, which is 8%, I mean, it is Quack. That's a fruit beer. That may well take a bit of getting through. And then the other Quack one was the Quack Blonde, and that is 7.4%, so a little bit less. Still punchy as you like, and that obviously is a blonde ale. So there you have it, 7 new kegs since May. They're spoiling us, people. They're spoiling us. So if you've tried any of those already, please let me know what you think to them below. Let me know what I should get in my next 3 keg order. So thinking of those 7 kegs, which should Baldy get for his next few reviews? So next up, we had that email a few months ago now of what kegs were going to be delisted and which were going to be on hold. Let's pull up that graphic. Here we go. So right, delisted kegs first. Let's run through them. First up, Jeanette Bio White. Not bothered. Good. But this next one, the Magic Rock Dark Arts beer, that's a gutter. That, I mean, on that review for that, I was over the moon. It was in the winter, and maybe it is a little bit of a seasonal beer. But then it would be nice if they just brought it back as a seasonal release. It would also be nice if we had a stout because of this, because of the Perfect Draft Pro. Stouts are better at a higher temperature. We can now put it at a higher temperature and the stout's gone. And it was a good one as well. I'm going to stick my neck out there. It had flavour. It had a lovely bit of licorice to it. And I really enjoyed it. So I'm sorry to see that one go. Then we had the Thornbridge Shelby. That's gone. Gotta be honest, that was a little bit of a lager IPA hybrid for me. It wasn't that IPA-ish. Is that a word? Don't know. But it wasn't that citrusy, wasn't that flavoursome. I thought it tasted a bit more like a lager. So I probably wouldn't have bought that one again anyway. But it had its fans. So some people may be upset that that's now been delisted. Then, as I just mentioned, the McKellar heated seats. Again, I was a little bit disappointed with that, but there it is. That's on the delisted section as well. It probably didn't go down as well as they expected, and they have now got this new pale ale, which I just mentioned, the old Game of Thrones combination thing. Then we also have the Le Debouche, which again, I did a review of that. It was okay. It was all right. Quite a few of these I really do think would have benefited from this machine here. So it does seem strange that they're being delisted when this has come out. And then we've got the on hold kegs. And it's important what to say, they're not in the immediate plans. So could they come back? Might they get some in now and again? I can only hope, because that top one there, that's killed me off. That was an absolute... I stood there looking at that. I didn't. I was sitting at the time. But I was sitting and I sat still. Because Crew Republic, what I still think is the best IPA on this Perfect Draft, not in their immediate plans. I'm mourning that one, people. I'm mourning it. Then we've got the Dykirst Premium. Never got a chance to review that. The Dykirst Grand Cru, I love that keg. I thought that was really good. So I bet that was also quite nice. I'm probably never going to find out. Schneider's, the Bayerisch Helles Lager. That got off to a bit of a slow start, and I think it was the pricing there. That was one of those very first kind of more expensive kegs. I think it may have even gone over the £40 mark when it came in. And people had the eye on that, and especially for the percentage it was, it did seem quite expensive. I can't say I was blown away with it. I didn't think it had that much flavour. It was inoffensive, and I can see why some people like that bit more of a peppery taste that lager had to it. Then the Thornbridge J-Pour. I mean, the IPA really, forget punk IPA, the IPA that really started it all. So that's also on hold. And, that can be a bit of a shame, because that, I thought, was quite tasty. I know it had its dislikers. It really did. Dislikers? I think that's okay. It did have some people that weren't so keen on it. I thought it was a pretty good beer. I think that's a shame to see that go. Like I say, it was one of my first reviews, so I've got fond memories of that keg. And then finally, on the on hold, the Tiny Rebel Key Lime Lager. Obviously just didn't really fly off the shelves. It didn't seem to get a very warm reception when it did come in. So, that one, again, not in their immediate plans. So that is the on hold and the delisted kegs. What do you think to that? Yeah, which ones are you really going to miss? And if you are going to miss some of them, it's well worth checking Beerhawk now, because a lot of those are still in stock. Dark Arts, for example, that's still there. Le Debouche, you can still get that. You can still get that on there. So have a look on there, because all is not lost, and they may still have some of those kegs in stock. And then finally, let's think about pricing. Yeah. So there's been some price increases across the board on the kegs. There's the odd one that has dropped a little bit. And that was the case in the last news review back in May. Now, the most recent kind of communication around price increases, they also did say about the shipping charge being increased. Now, that seemed to fluctuate throughout 1 or 2 days, and then it settled back down to £50 again. So as of speaking at the moment, it still has to be over £50 for the free shipping. That was going to go up to over £90. Now, it's good to see that didn't happen, and that's not the case, especially because of the one big factor that's happened to us PerfectDraft owners, and especially those people that were in that Facebook group. Let's all take a moment and mourn the demise of that PerfectDraft keg tip code. The 15 PDKT code no longer works. It's been taken away. It is no more. It has passed on. It's demised. It's gone away. It's died. It's expired. It's gone. Yeah. So what they did is actually tell us that we shared it too much. It got shared outside of the group, got shared by people on social channels. I didn't. Hands up, I didn't. Not my fault. But it happened. You know, it did happen. So they said, because of that, we're taking that away and we're now giving you your own 10% code. If you've brought 12 kegs in the last year. So not everyone's got it, which I think is a bit of a shame because everyone in that group could get that code. Now that has had a bit of a backlash, and that's understandable because people were getting that 15% off. And let's face it, in these times, you do need a little bit of a hand with very expensive stuff like beer. So the 15%'s gone, but if you are what they say is a loyal kind of keg buyer, you can still get the 10% off with your own personal code. So you should have received an email if you have hit that threshold of 12 kegs. If you've hit that and you've not got a code, it's worth an email to them to try and get one. Now the other thing, the other factor that hasn't gone away is the mix and match. So if you're buying 3 kegs, you can still get your 10% off that when they're in the mix and match bundles. And it's well worth having a look if you can afford it, because obviously 6 kegs at once is a bit of an outlay, but that can still get you the 15% off. So if those kegs that you do like are among the mix and match specials, it's well worth giving them a go. If you've got a mate with a perfect draft, it's worth teaming up. You know, what 3 kegs do you like? What do I like? Are they in the mix and match? Let's get that 15% off together, mate. It can be done. So there are little ways around it that you can try and get the extra 15% off. And then just this week, they've also released or re-released the referral scheme as well. So £70 off for a machine if you refer a friend. And you've now got your own personal referral code, and you can see that in your My Account section on the Beerhawk website. So have a look at that, share it with a mate, and basically they will get £70 off the machine, well worth having, and you will get £35 worth of beer tokens, well worth having. Now, an interesting little detail is that it says 4 referrals a month. So actually, you could get some more next month and the month after that. You could do. Don't know if that's going to work. But before, when they did that with your own personal referral scheme, you only got 4 and that was it. You were goner. That's it. And also, big shout out to Paul John Tane, who is a cracking moderator of the Perfect Draft Keg Tips group. And he welcomed me with open arms when I actually went on there and set up a Big Bold Reviews profile on Facebook. So give him a bit of love, show him a few likes, go and subscribe to his channel, Absolute Top Youth. And he does a lot of Perfect Draft stuff as well. A lot of those new kegs that I've been mentioned, he's got in there. He's reviewed them, so check those videos out. But for now, Perfect Drafters, what I'm saying to you is this. Whatever you're doing this weekend, make it a good one. Enjoy, have an absolute belter. Cheers, Perfect Drafters. Cheers.